Well, good morning. It's been a while, but I'm finally back to do some more photography, which I've really missed for a while. The first thing is that I'm looking for one specific tree. My wife and I discovered it a couple of weeks ago on a walk, and I've always wanted to come back and grab a photograph of it. It's really nice tree, and you'll see it in a minute. All right, let's crack on and find our tree. Started to rain a bit heavier, so I've got my rucksack cover on my camera just to protect it a little bit and just waiting the rain out. And as we're waiting, let me go through this little scene with you. So I found this little tree here that's surrounded by brambles, and you can, of course, you can see on the bottom there that patch of brambles, so red and so vibrant, very autumnal. And what I love is the depth of this image. Right, so walking a bit closer, you have these pale greyish branches on the top, but if you look further, right, there are these brown, very delicately rustic leaves behind, and of course at the bottom you have your red bramble, and in the middle you have some really mossy green trunks, and they all, in my opinion, work together really well as an image. They all work together, and it just looks very pleasing, looks very autumnal. It gives out a really strong autumnal vibe, in my opinion. Well, I'm still on the way to that one tree I'm looking for, but I got caught up by another photograph, and again it's raining really heavily, so I'm just waiting it out with my camera in the rain as well. Now this one is a curious one. It looks very interesting, but I struggled to make it an aesthetic image. You have this very symmetrical tree, okay, and it's red, it's orange, it's very vibrant, and the backdrop are just muted green and grey. But this tree is very symmetrical, which poses a problem in photography. We don't want things to be super symmetrical, because that's going to not look that great, just honestly. So I'm trying to... Oh, it's raining really heavily. I'm come under here. So I'm trying to really just balance the photograph. I don't want it to be right in the centre, and I try to use the grass as the foreground to give it more context, so that it's not just colours symmetrical in the middle. That would be quite boring. So I hope it worked. It's really chucking it down now. I think the best option is just to leave this. I've taken a really brief photograph, and I hope it worked. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it and go into the forest and under some cover. Okay, so I just grabbed another shot of some silver birches. It's very much a hit and run tactic in a weather like this, and it's currently not raining as much, but it comes and goes, and it's really annoying. There's nothing too much to say about this composition. Just a beautiful group of trees in the rain, dead in the centre, and looks very nice. Classic English countryside in autumn. And there's my camera here on the cover. Yeah, very much soaked, and I hope my camera will be okay by the end of the day. But it's truly beautiful, and it's still very nice to just come out and do this, even in the rain. I'm still very much on my way to the tree, and it's really nice to be in the forest now. I've got some shelter, and I just stumbled upon these two trees that's in the middle of the path, and just a nice little scene to take a photograph of. It's very quick, straightforward, looks nice, job done. Alright, now this is the tree I was very excited about, but unfortunately it's not got any leaves left. Oh, that's quite sad, isn't it? But you see what I mean, it's really nice. It's a really beautiful tree, right by the lakeside. It's got branches going into the lake and all over the places, and the roots, very intricate root system as well, especially these. It's very beautiful. So I'm going to leave it, alright, and I'm going to just sit down here by the lake shore. Well, it's more of a pond, but I'll just have a sit and look at some birds. There are lots of wild ducks in this pond. I'm just going to look at them and relax and just unwind a little bit. I think that's what I'll do. Also wanted to show you this. This is apparently the oldest tree in Middlesex. It's an oak tree, and it truly is huge. It's massive. The leaves are not turning though. The master oak. Let's play a tune for this tree. So just as I was playing, I saw this other tree I want to take a photograph of, just when I was under the master oak. So just opposite the master oak on the other side of the fence. Let me turn you around. So there's that tree over there, dark trunk, lovely bright yellow leaves. So I put the trunk on the right hand side, so it's a bit off balanced. If I zoom in and just photograph the tree trunk is very dominating. So what I did is I placed some foreground. I don't know what these the shrubberies are. I think that's brambles. I don't know what the brown ones are, but they look very nice, and it gives it more context and they balance the heaviness out a little bit. And it's just really nice. I think it works. Yeah, and here's the image. So one really good thing about autumn is you can see photographs everywhere, but that's also a downfall because I can't move on to the next place. I think I'm being quite experimental here, but in front of me is a nice group of young beech trees. So these four in the middle. Okay, and what I love even more, right, is all these golden leaves that's on the forest floor. And they create such a contrast with the trunks. It's kind of like similar to the previous image, and they just look really nice together. But I'm doing something quite bold here. I'm filling most of my frame with the leaves. Okay, so with just leaves, and only the top third, right, are the tree trunks. Okay, so it's quite different, it's quite experimental. Please tell me what you think and tell me if it worked. I think it kind of works, and I quite like it. But let me know in the comment section, what do you think? Good morning again, this is day 2, and I came out again into a slightly different location. It's right next to the place I went to yesterday actually, but this place is a bit different because it's more wooded, more sheltered, and the trees are a lot more dense. The reason I came out again today is just because yesterday was so rainy and it's really hard working. My camera got wet and all the images are foggy, and it's just not nice, so I felt like I didn't get as much done as I should have. So I'm taking today, which is not raining, as a second chance. Right, we're gonna explore this woods a little bit. I've never been here before, but it looks quite promising. There are lots of trees and very dense, so let's see what we can find today. A fairly obvious shot, so kind of a low-hanging fruit, but it still looks nice. I'm gonna take it. One thing I want to show you is the way I composed it. So if you look at the scene here, so what I have here is that tree over there, right, nice little beech tree, interesting shapes, and that one at the back. And the two, I'm looking to relate the two trees in some ways. If you follow this branch here, it goes down and up, so it looks like it's kind of holding the other tree on top of it. And this doesn't happen if I just walk a couple of steps to the right. So now you can see that branch there is intersecting the tree, which doesn't look as nice in my opinion. So look at this, if we go down, right, the branch is now right intersecting the tree again. So the optimum height is somewhere here, where the branch is underneath the other tree at the back, and that makes it look nicer. Yeah, quite cheap shot, quite obvious, but it still looks nice, and it doesn't have any autumnal element to it. Well, a little bit, but it's still nice. Right, so here's the shot. So we have here a rowan tree on the left, and a dead, decayed silver birch tree trunk on the right. And we have this gorgeous fir that's on the forest floor. Initially, I tried to incorporate both the trees, the rowan tree and the silver birch trunk, but it just didn't work. The contrast is too stark, and I was quite trying to capture this contrast between life and death. The rowan tree's got loads of berries on it, it's very much alive, very much happy, and the silver birch has gone. But it doesn't quite work. A contrast too stark and doesn't look very nice. So I tried a more minimal approach, so I just have the fir and part of the silver birch trunk, and I think it works really well. So I'm losing the top bit of the silver birch tree to make it a bit more minimal. I'm shooting in 4x5. I think most of the photographs nowadays are 4x5. I just really love this aspect ratio. It's just really nice, and I think they work together really well. I've always wanted to capture the colours of fern in autumn, and I think this scene here is a really good opportunity to do so. If I turn you around, you can see that there's some really tall ones at the back that's protruding out, and there's some more in the front. So there are 2 layers of ferns. I mean, I just like the colours and it looks nice, so I'm going to grab a photo. Right, so again, it's a 4x5. That one's my subject-ish. These ones are the foreground, and it just looks nice and balanced, and the colour's just beautiful. That's the main reason I'm taking this photograph. Oh, there's some sunlight coming in. I'm going to grab the shot. A third of a second, f11. I'm focusing right around here to make sure I have good focus throughout the frame. ISO 64. 2-second timer. There we go. And the one thing to mention is this protruding part. It can't be centered. It won't look as good if it's centered, in my opinion anyways. Actually, it might look nice. I'm going to try it in a minute. It might look quite nice. But I can't place it here because I don't want the sky to come in on the top right hand side corner. It's very distracting. So I want to eliminate that sky. So all I have are the colours of trees and foliage. And I'm just going to try and compose this right in the centre. I think in this case it might look quite nice. Let me have a try. I'm definitely not touching that. Well, this is a very complicated scene, and but I'm having fun. I'm having fun composing and looking for an image from this. So there are many different elements. Right, we have the ferns in the front, and the ferns are in different colours, and the lighter colour would give more of a visual weight on the image. And especially talking about this one here at the bottom, very bright, very visually, what's the word, visually impactful. And I've got these dead, I think it's a silver birch again, I'm not sure, maybe oak. I've got a dead tree trunk, dead branches here, and it's interweaving through the ferns. and that's what caught my attention in the first place. So there are two ways, I think, to compose an image from this scene. The first way is to do lots of subtraction. Okay, so essentially I know what I want is the colour in the ferns and their relationship with this dead tree trunk. So I'll just eliminate all the other elements and take an image. Okay, so these are the ferns. That's the dead branch weaving through the scene. It's okay, but it feels too simplified because the scene's much more than this. So the other way of approach is to be the opposite, right? To use addition and to add as many elements as possible. And I have to say I prefer the second approach. Normally I would lean towards a minimal image with like fewest elements as possible, as few as possible. But in this case, this whole conglomeration of autumnal colours just work together. Okay, it's what we experience when we go for a walk in the forest. We see all the colours being messy and all together. Okay, and it looks nice. It's autumn. So right now I'm trying to capture that with a wider frame. Let me show you what I've got. Okay, I hope you can see it clearly. So I zoomed out. I still got the dead branches here and there, and included a third one on the top that's curving down from the top. So initially I only had these 3 branches, but it looks like something's missing on the right hand side of the frame, and I found this little baby oak over there, so that balanced out the scene very nicely. And I've got the bright yellow fern down there. I'm still not sure whether I want to include this or not. And I just had another thought, that is to take a panoramic photo of this scene. So I'm going to sweep through the scene. So imagine my hand is the top and bottom of the image. So I'm going to just scan through this scene, right, making a panoramic photo. So 3 ideas. Have a go and let me know what you think and which one you prefer and why. This place is actually considered as Heathland. You can see there are lots of heather here, which I really like. This reminds me of Scotland. This is so nice. That is a beautiful Scots pine. Wow. So here's another shot that's just quite interesting. Normally, right, your bird tree is the right way up. In this case, it's falling down, and it creates this cascade of branches going down, which is just quite interesting and different. And with all the autumnal foliage next to it and around it, I think it looks very interesting, and it fills the frame very nicely. Right, look at this. Right, it's so nice. It distributes itself in a square, in a 4x5 so nicely. So f11 ISO 400 because there's some wind, 1/13 of a second, 2-second timer. Yeah, it's a nice little shot. Just interesting branches. minutes my microphone adapter just broke, so apologies if the audio is not very good, but I think I'm gonna call it today. I'm approaching the car park where I left my bike, and I've gotten loads of photographs today, so I'm very happy. So I'm going to cycle home, and it's actually a very nice cycle. So the start of the cycle is you're basically cycling through the woods on a B road. So it's really, really nice. So I might, if I can, I'm going to film the cycle a little bit and show you what it's like. It's really nice. So I'll end the video on that. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.